Hello again, ladies and gentlemen. Second video for you here on how to fully function or fully work the Eclipse to get files back and forth to maybe your Google Drive or your USB, however you're trying to access those. So hopefully you've already seen the installation process. You've gotten this far. If not, refer back to that video first, because if you don't have Eclipse, you can't put things onto Eclipse. So the first thing I want to show you guys is, again, how to go ahead and add a new file or a new project. So your projects are going to be listed over here at the, I guess the highest point of the tree, or maybe the lowest point of the tree. You should see your projects listed here. So easiest way to do it is, I always suggest either clicking directly onto this file or button, or if you just click the button below, you always want to make sure you are selecting a Java project. So if we have that, if you click, and I'll show you, we can name the file here. If you just click on the actual button itself, it says, what would you like to create? Go into Java, I believe. No, it might be under general, actually. Ooh, that's a good question. I believe it would be under Java then. And, well, you know what? I'm going to have to look at that myself real quick. But so I suggest, if we are going to add something, that you go here, you try to add a Java project. You know what? I'm going to figure this out right now. Let's say I want to make a project. Good question, Mr. Nichols. File, new. I guess from here, I would just always either go File, New, Java Project, or if you're going to click down here, I'd click the drop-down menu, do select Java Project one more time. So I'm going to name this for Unit 3. I believe, maybe already have some information in here. Doesn't look like it. Okay. So here again, you can see the tree system is working. It's happening, fully functioning. But when you open it up, this Java system library, you're never going to have to use anything that's in there. So I always leave that tree closed. Right now, we have a source folder, but it is completely empty. So what we're going to be going from here is, we're going to make sure that we know how to add a class properly. There's a few ways to do it. The way that I suggest always doing it is just right-clicking on the actual source code folder and then saying, I would like a new Java class. Another way to do that is, if we right-click here, what you want to make sure you have selected the source folder. So like you said, you can select different items. Select the source code folder and then say, can I please add a new class? And this will add a class. Just make sure that the source folder is saying the actual project that you want, and it's going in the SRC folder. The package. This is an optional additional filing system. So what we're going to run into is, eventually we'll have a lot of different folders, or a lot of different projects that we'll be using. Some people like to organize much more than what I do in class. So I'll show you exactly what we're going to do here. Let's say, for instance, I'm going to download our lab for our Unit 2. So I'm going to go ahead and say that this package, this is basically a folder that's going to hold everything for my lab here. So I'm going to go ahead and say, let's create this thing. I'm going to name it as a Java class. This is going to be, let's say we did our friend after dark here. This will be technically Unit 2. But if you notice, there are a few things that changed here. When I added it, this used to say default. It now says lab. When I go to look into what exactly, and I'll show you a little bit later, this is just another organizational structure. So what I also do is, like, if I have a new class that we're going to do, let's say we're doing something at school and it's just for testing purposes, and you know that this is going to be from section 1.1. You can go ahead and put this in the package section 1.1 and say, this is going to be, like, let's say, like, I think we made something that was called string func earlier at some point in time. And then, it doesn't like my spaces. So once again, you have to make sure that you are properly labeling these. Section 1_1. This package name is discouraged by convention. Usually starts. Okay, fine. I will do that. Almost forgot my own rules. There you go. So you can see that it's all. This is something we say. It's like programmer's code. It is discouraged to do this. Is it actually going to work? Yes, it will. But let's go ahead and make sure we're doing things properly. If you do this, you can see, it has created now a second package for me. You can make one of these for every single day that you have. It just depends on how organized you want to be. You'll see at the top, the very first line, it just says it's in the package, and then it's the direct name of the package and a semicolon. If you ever transfer this over to a different file and it yells at you, this is probably going to be the one line of code that you would have to change in front of that. All right, let's say we've got this all down. We know what we're making files for. Beautiful, perfect. What I want to show you guys now is actually going to be how we can access our Google Drive and go ahead and get files from the Google Drive there and backwards. So the first thing that I always suggest doing is I say you need to figure out where your files are located on the computer you are currently using. Typically at school, you will open the File Explorer. You'll be able to access it in your H drive. Hopefully you have a 359 folder. Hopefully inside of there you have an Eclipse folder. This is where everything's being saved at school. At home, it's not on your H drive. We chose where we wanted to download this earlier when we first downloaded Eclipse. For me, I'm going to go to my C drive. If you remember, it said, oh, I need to go to the users, and I need to pick the user of this computer. I then put all of my information in the Java Eclipse workspace. Double click on this. You should be able to see any list of projects that we have. For example, I have 2 different projects up here, Unit 1 and Unit 2. If we go back to the workspace, I have Unit 2 and Unit 3. Let's say I want to go ahead and check to see where my files are. Open up this. We said that all our files are going to be in the source code folder. Boom. This is the organizational structure for the packages. You should now see a list of packages. Again, just an easier way to organize things. Inside the lab folder, you'll see I have Java or Friend After Dark. Inside the section 1, I have stringfun.java. The .java files are the files that we're going to want to share back and forth. All right, so what I'm going to do here, oops, I double clicked on it accidentally. Get out of there, cancel that. So what we're going to do here is I'm going to, and Google Drive does a very nice job of this. You can click and drag into Google Drive. So I'm going to click this. I'm going to drag it into the Chrome app. I'm going to pop open here, and then I'm just going to say, let's go ahead and put this into my drive somewhere. So it uploads it, and then all the way at the bottom, you should see here, I have stringfun.java. So let's go ahead and say, for instance, that we have downloaded this file, we've uploaded it, we're now back home. How do I get this on my computer at home? Well, you need to access your Google Drive again, double click on the file, and what I'm going to ask you to do is, this file is not going to do anything for us, it just kind of gives you the source code. We're going to want to download this file. This now says stringfun.java. Remember, only the .java files are the ones that we need. Again, click and drag. This is the best part about this. You can either find this in the File Explorer, or you can directly click and drag from this right here. Click it, drag it, highlight the Eclipse folder, and it will tell you one thing you don't want to do, and I'll show you this right now, is a lot of people are clicking and dragging right in the middle right here. Uh-oh, there's a problem with that. I didn't put this in the source folder. So this, if I try to run this, for instance, like if I made a main class real quick, public static void main string array of arguments. And let's say I just have SYSOUT and I want to print out hello. If I try to run this file right here, it's going to come up with this ant build. And a lot of us have been running into that. That's again because I did not put this file. You can always see it has an asterisk next to it. I didn't put it in the source code, the source files. So I'm going to go ahead and get rid of that. I don't want it. I'm going to pretend like I didn't do that, and we're going to start this over again. Let's show how to properly do this. Download the Java file, open it up, and you're going to have to highlight inside of here where you want it. Just by holding over the top of it, you can see that it opens up the tree. If I wanted to put it in Unit 2, I just hovered over Unit 2, it would open that folder up as well. From here, you can choose. Now, if you have just a generic default folder, you can drop this right into the source code file. If I wanted to put it in a specific package, I would just select which package I want. Let's say I accidentally want it in the lab package now. Drop it in there. I say, please copy my files over. Boom. I now have access to this. It's yelling at me. Why? Oh, because I'm currently storing this in the lab package. It should be in the section 1_1. You just have to change this now to say lab. Looks like I'm running out of time. And it should be functioning full. Should be fully functional at this point in time. If at any point in time things are not showing up here, but they should, I always suggest going File and Refresh. That should refresh all your pages for you. You should see all your files. If you have any questions, ask me. Otherwise, in class, hope this helps you guys.